If there is any doubt that Greta Thunberg, Greg Stoker, anybody else that has been a part of this flotilla was not tortured psychologically, emotionally, and physically for several days, then you're just as big a dupe as anybody. They're only going to say so much. One of the reasons why they will only say so much is because they can't show weakness. They have to show defiance and confidence, because if they don't, then there are people who will be deterred from actually going on the next round of flotillas, which hopefully will be several hundred.
They're already sailing. There's boats already sailing. Now there's just like continuously boats. But not only are they resilient, they're not deterred in the least. They're not deterred in the least.
Nope. So here is what Greta had to say about her experience.
Let me be very clear. There is a genocide going on in front of our very eyes. A live-streamed genocide on all of our phones. No one has the privilege to say we are not aware of what is happening. No one in the future will be able to say we did not know. Under international law, states have a legal obligation to act to prevent and to stop a genocide from happening. That means ending complicity, applying real pressure, and ending arms transfers. We are not seeing that. We are not even seeing the bare minimum from our governments.
We're not seeing anything. And as we've said, the only logical explanation that makes any sense at this point is that the Samson option is something that Milikowski has made very clear that if you back Israel all the way into a corner, they'll do it. Like the threat of a nuclear attack is a very real thing.
Yes. Yes.
And so I would tell Greta, complaining to the governments are not going to do shit. The only way this changes is if the people collectively say, to hell with this shit. And what we're noticing, especially as our channel has grown, and we have very much what you would consider a rainbow coalition of all different colors of the political spectrum, pretty much everybody here is unified around the issue of Israel-Palestine, which to me is the issue of our time in so many ways. So it's only a matter of time before the dam breaks. That's what I see.
Yeah. I mean, this is not going to stop. It's not going to stop. There's going to be more and more boats. And if people don't understand that, then look at the exponential growth from the first couple of missions where you had individual boats to what just happened. And every single time that the Zio state has to deal with these missions, it's taking resources that are already spread thin. That's what it's doing. So people who say it's a PR stunt, fuck you. Fuck you. These are revolutionaries that are sick and tired of watching a Holocaust and watching our governments do nothing about it. So these are people at their wits' end that are doing whatever they can think of to do to help these people that are being Holocausted. So anybody who has the privilege of sitting there and saying it's just for PR, seriously, go fuck yourself.
What Jen said.
Our international systems are betraying Palestinians. They are not even able to prevent the worst war crimes from happening. And I will never, ever comprehend how humans can be so evil that you would deliberately starve millions of people living trapped under an illegal siege as a continuation of decades and decades of suffocating oppression, apartheid, and occupation. What we aim to do with the global flotilla was to step up when our governments failed to do their legal obligation. Our governments are talking about ensuring human rights and the importance of getting humanitarian aid into Gaza, while failing to do their part and while failing to even the bare minimum ensuring safety for this mission?
I am not sure a single flotilla will make it to the beachhead at this point.
Maybe not.
I was suspicious that they wouldn't. But as a few people have pointed out, you've pointed out, if you even want to call it a silver lining, as a result of so many ships heading towards Gaza, the Israeli Navy actually had to take attention away from other matters to deal with these ships. And as a result, Palestinians were able to fish for the first time in over 2 years.
Yeah.
You can imagine the joy that they felt being able to do that.
And I have been saying this from the very beginning about what we're able to do, and it doesn't seem like we're doing much. It doesn't seem like we can do anything, and I know people feel really helpless about it. But what I will tell you, and I know this for a fact from the Palestinian people themselves, and from people who have spent time in Gaza in the past 2 years, that what we're doing matters to them. What we're doing matters to the Palestinians. It makes them know that people care and that we care about what happens to them, and they're not alone in the world, and that we will continuously be harping on this and will continuously avenge this for eternity. And our support of them gives them hope. And while that seems like a small, insignificant thing, I have been assured from people who know that it is not a small thing. So when people say, what can we do? We're doing it. That's what you're doing. You're doing it. So yeah, it's important. And honestly, do not shit talk Greta in my chat. Nobody.
Yeah, I don't even understand that. That's so.
I just don't.
This mission should not have to exist. The global Samud flotilla was the biggest ever attempt to break Israel's illegal and inhumane siege by sea. And it is a story of global, international solidarity, of people stepping up when our governments failed to do so, of people saying that my leaders, so-called leaders who are supposed to represent me, who continue to fuel a genocide, death and destruction, they do not represent me. And this is a last resort. That this mission has to exist, it's a shame. It is a shame. And I could talk for a very, very long time about our mistreatment and abuses in our imprisonment, trust me, but that is not the story.
Does she seem deterred to you? Does she seem like you've scared her off and she's now going to go cry in a corner somewhere? Because I'm not getting that vibe.
No, not at all. And again, this is a person who, despite what you may think of her, she's actually a pretty formidable fighter. Now, if you want to say, fellow chat, that you didn't like the shit libs that were propping her up a handful of years ago, that's fine. But notice something here. They're not propping her up now, are they? In fact, they've pretended that she doesn't even exist anymore.
Exactly.
That's what a real revolutionary looks like. And yes, let me assure you that if your issue with her is that she preaches global climate change is a serious problem, here's all I can tell you about whether or not you believe in climate change. Do you think it's possible that the water you drink is contaminated? If the answer is yes, then that's a form of climate change because your water climate is being polluted.
Climate crisis.
Climate crisis. Do you think there are problems with the air you breathe? You know, like in places like East Palestine, Ohio, and Flint, Michigan, and Kalamazoo, and East Chicago, Indiana. Do you have a problem with that? I would. That's a form of a climate crisis. Now, you could look at it however which way you want. And again, how much of an impact do we as humans have overall? I can't say. You know what I can say? That we have, whether it's DuPont, it could be anybody, has destroyed our environment for the purpose of profit. And if that means they have to kill people All you have to do is look at the French CEO of Nestle, who says that water is not a right, it is a privilege. And I don't have to say anything else. That's all you need to know. So this is why the environment is a big issue, and Greta was at the forefront of it, but she wasn't really getting in the way of capital just yet when she started. Now she's getting in the way of it, and now they can't fucking stand her. And now they're reaping what they sow because they thought that they were dealing with a snot-nosed kid who was actually a privileged little child. In reality, she was always a revolutionary.
Always.
And now that she's got her sea legs, she's willing to take it to the next level. Credit to her. She's a fighter. And you better fucking believe that they tortured the shit out of her. And she's like, good, bring it. I'm alive.
I think the other thing I see in her is it's like she's young Medea. This is like where these people, they come from it. They're in it all the time. She's a revolutionary. She's willing to put her body on the line. She's what, 22 years old?
Yeah, 23.
I was nowhere in the vicinity of revolutionary at 22 years old. The fact that, and let's also acknowledge the fact that she's Swedish, speaks perfect English, probably speaks other languages, don't know. She's clearly exceptionally bright, and she's fierce.
So let's say for a minute that you think she's a creepy little weirdo. Okay, let me give you that. Let's assume that you think that she's that. Do you support what she's doing right now? Or are you on the side of Israel? You don't have to like everybody that is fighting for the cause that matters the most right now. If you don't like her, that's fine. You don't have to like her. Do you like what she's doing is the question. And I do.
How can you think she's adorable with her little frog hat that she wears? And she just like, she is the most beautiful combination of like of a child's soul in an old soul fighter's position. Like she's like I don't know how you could think that. Like that's so, I don't get it.
Like I said, if you don't like her, that's fine. As long as
you're
supporting the cause for humanity, not everybody's going to like each other. That's part of life. That's how it goes.
And by the way, the people that aren't liking her, what the fuck are you standing up and doing?
They're not doing that. That much I can be assured.
You put your body on the line?
That Israel, while continuing to worsen and escalate their genocide and mass destruction with genocidal intent, attempting to erase an entire population, an entire nation in front of our very eyes, they once again violated international law by preventing humanitarian aid from getting into Gaza while people are being starved. And we want to also emphasize that we do not only need humanitarian aid to enter Gaza, we need an end to the siege, we need an end to the occupation and the oppression. This action was challenging our extremely violent business as usual that is preventing these war crimes from happening.
And she just said it. That's it. If you get it, it doesn't matter how many have to die, how many have to suffer. If it's in the name of capital, they will do it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, they were fine with her when she was just talking her little Green New Deal shit. Because they're all with that. That's fine. Because they think that they're going to make it so, and we've talked about this before.
Greenwashing.
Yeah, it's greenwashing, and they're just going to create green capital. And so they're fine with that. They don't really care. They don't really give a shit about climate crisis. They're just looking for new ways to make money. But yeah, now she's really being like, being a pain in their butt.
In a big way.
I think she's amazing. I think she is badass. And mad respect for this kid.
And that is what this story is about. We cannot take our eyes away from Gaza, from all the places of the world that are suffering, living on the forefront of this business as usual systems. Congo, Sudan, Afghanistan, Gaza, and many, many more. What we are doing is the bare minimum. This genocide and other genocides are being enabled and fueled by our own governments, our institutions, our media and companies. It is our responsibility to end that complicity. What we are doing is not in any way, no one has to come to the rescue of Palestinian people. What we are doing is hearing and acting upon their calls for people all over the world to take action and end our complicity, to use our privileges, our platforms to take a stance against this that is in every way unjustifiable.
I love her. And the thing about her is she really takes every single opportunity where she could, and a lot of people do in this work that we do, like in activism, in content creation, you see often how people will then make it about themselves. They
Yes.
center themselves. It's about themselves. She didn't even want to talk about what happened to her.
No.
She is 100% about the mission all the time.
Would
It's
you like
like,
to,
yeah.
would you like to share with the audience what they put her through over the past few days?
Well, from what we know for sure, that a couple of the, or I think it was like 2 or 3 of the Turkish flotilla members were released, I think or earlier on, and they had reported that the IOF was forcing Greta. First of all, they were dragging her by her hair, and they were forcing her to crawl on her knees and kiss the Israel flag. Now, that's the things we know that they did. So I assure you there's more. I am sure over time we might get bits and pieces between all of the returning hostages, like what really went down. But it's like they had to walk a fine line with her. They're only going to hurt her as much as to send a message. They can't really do anything to her.
No,
And-
because again, it's an international crisis waiting
yeah.
to happen if she ends up dead, which again, they listen, you see all the Zios out there saying, man, I hope they would kill her. I hope they would kill her. That's
Yeah,
what-
because she's fighting for starving babies. I could see why that threatens the psychotic Zios.